If you're just now hearing about Cop City, you probably don't know what it is, and you might even think activists are being hyperbolic by calling it that. But no. Atlanta police do not just want to create a new training facility. No. They want to take $90 million and 350 acres of land, of public park space, to build on top of a former plantation and prison farm in order to create a mock city of Atlanta, where Atlanta police will be free to practice urban warfare tactics. They want to create a mock city of Atlanta, a city that is 50% black as of 2021, and a city where 20% of the people live in poverty and 70% of the people do not support Cop City. In that city, they want to create a mock city where they are free to test out explosions, tear gassing, bombing, high-speed chases. That is what they consider policing. They want to spend $90 million to tear down forest land to create 350 acres worth of a mock city where they can test out policing. And policing for them is tear gassing, bombing, explosions, and high-speed chases. That is how they are practicing policing this majority black city.
Because we understand that this Cop City is not just for training. The officer that killed Rashad Brooks in Atlanta had over 2,000 hours of training. This is not about the training of police. This is about the militarization of police, the over-policing of black communities, and the attacking of movements and organizations that oppose police violence. This is an extension of that, and that's why we are against Cop City, because we know this is not about training. This is about police militarization and the over-policing of black communities.
To do this, they want to cut down a substantial part of the South River Forest, which is there to help prevent flooding and extreme heat to the residents of Atlanta. On top of that, the land that they want to build on top of has been in dispute for decades as it is, and there have already been activists saying that land should be used to create affordable housing for Atlanta's residents. But no, they want to tear down forest land, take land that has been in dispute in order to create a fucking cop city. If that's not a police state, I don't know what is. Many local activists have taken up the cause of preventing the construction of Cop City, and several of them have lived in the forest now. This is the second year they have lived in this forest protesting the development of Cop City. Last week, Atlanta police entered and shot and mercilessly murdered protester Manuel Esteban Terran. Since they started a campaign vilifying him, suggesting that he shot first, but there's been no evidence produced to suggest it. Since then, what always happens whenever a protester or anybody is killed by the police, the media does their best to interpret and portray any level of pushback and resistance by the protesters as riots, all while ignoring the fact that police officers entered their home, murdered this kid in order to continue their efforts to create an entire mock city where they can practice doing the same to the rest of the Atlanta residents.
Because we understand that this Cop City is not just for training. The officer that killed Rashad Brooks in Atlanta had over 2,000 hours of training. This is not about the training of police. This is about the militarization of police, the over-policing of black communities, and the attacking of movements and organizations that oppose police violence. This is an extension of that, and that's why we are against Cop City, because we know this is not about training. This is about police militarization and the over-policing of black communities.
Other parts and other nations of indigenous peoples. I've seen situations just like what we're going through here in other countries. I've seen things going on where people have been killed just like what we're trying to say should never happen here all over the world, and I don't want that to increase. Every time in these countries I shared with them, no matter what, how you slice it, the increasing of more militarized mechanism never establishes a peaceful society. No matter what. It never accomplishes what your hopes, what your arguments are. In fact, it does quite the opposite. In fact, our community, we are already living through the living proof of that at this moment. Today, I think it's obvious. I don't support Cop City.